Hello there, and thank you for joining us this afternoon for a special Bespoke lifestyle session themed Creating Green Spaces at Home. I'm Jingay Joven de la Merced, your host for today, and a recent garden enthusiast who has found solace in converting her house to what her kids and her husband now call our very own jungle or our very own forest in the city. With most of us staying at home or working from home the past months, we've all inevitably discovered or rediscovered the joys of engaging in some homebound activities we never got around to do because it was just so busy. But these days, more and more people are cooking, baking, redecorating, and of course, gardening. That these home projects, formerly perceived as chores, have now become a source of comfort and joy, not to mention therapy, as they provide and they've become our precious me time bliss. There is no question that one of today's biggest lifestyle trends is revitalizing the home with a touch of nature. Working with nature, of course, is at the heart of any endeavor of our presenters today. Ayala Malls awakens amazing with their sprawling gardens and beautiful landscapes woven into their commercial developments and creating and balancing, perfectly balancing the modern and ethereal in their malls. And Alveo Land, who innovates the way you live by designing socially responsible developments, cultivating vibrant communities, and creating groundbreaking living and working solutions fit for today's modern lifestyle. Together, Ayala Malls and Alveo Land conjured the concept for today's bespoke lifestyle session and invited one of the country's most respected floral and event stylists to share with us some helpful tips, practical advice on how to turn your space into your very own private sanctuary. But before that, also please take time to fill up the feedback form, which will be there at the end of the seminar, and a special gift will await you. On this note, may I introduce a stalwart in the wedding and event styling world, a highly sought after florist and plant connoisseur who, with her magical gardening tools, gifted green hands, and unique aesthetic sensibilities, have brought to life some of the most beautiful setups we've seen the past decades. A certified plants person, a wife, a mother, a design resource speaker, and most recently, a YouTuber as well. Good afternoon, Ms. Zenas Pineda.
Hi, Jingay. Hello, everyone. A pleasant good afternoon to all. I'm so happy to be invited here to be your speaker for this webinar, as the topic is something close to my heart, plants. I will surely enjoy this afternoon. I hope all the plant lovers out there and future plant parents out there will learn something from this talk.
So, Zenas, because the topic is quite expansive, we have cut the webinar into three main highlights: the benefits of plants and greens in your home, designing your respective rooms with these plants and accents, and proper care. So we will go in and out of video packages and Q&A. So for all our viewers, if you have any questions or comments, we would love to hear from you in the chat section or Q&A section of this webinar. And we will try to accommodate as many questions as possible. So first things first, Zenas, let's talk about the benefits of plants and greens in the home. Please watch this.
Hi, hello, how are you doing? I hope you're all doing fine in your homes. Sit back and relax and let me just explain to you the health benefits of our plants or of our indoor plants. Okay, lately I've been trying to buy Monstera plants, a certain size in particular. So I called my supplier, my longtime supplier, and asked him, can you deliver a certain number of Monstera plants? And he said, ma'am, can you wait about 3 or to 4 months because we're still trying to grow them as they ran out of stock. And he said, why did you run out of stock? You usually have those. And he mentioned that there was a surge of interest in this plant, in this particular plant. So I said, something must be going on. I mean, there's a surge of interest in these plants, and lately I have been seeing the post of my friends in Instagram and Facebook that outside of their cooking and baking skills, they are already posting about their plants, their pet plants in particular. Let me share it to you, the scientific study of NASA on why it's important for us to have indoor plants. So if you think there's a lot of pollution outside, there are more pollutants inside too. And the following are the pollutants and contaminants that we have to eliminate to get healthy. So one, the chemicals, which are, a few of them are like the formaldehyde and the benzene. These ones you find in carpets, upholstery materials, and then of course we have the biological and natural contaminants. The next one are the electronics, and then the fourth one, which parang it's not always talked about. You can't work well, you can't sleep well, you cannot also concentrate on on whatever you're doing. This can also cause some effects in your health. When they studied this, they found out that there are a lot of health benefits of the plant. So first, it releases oxygen, and then it absorbs toxic air. So those broadleaf plants, which releases more oxygen, can also absorb all these toxic contaminants. Therapeutic, well, for me, personally, this is my take. Therapeutic. Every time I see plants, they make me relax. They make me feel at ease. And when I'm at ease and relaxed, I can concentrate on my work. My happy hormones come out. Of course, the fourth one, it adds life, color, and beauty to your place. So let's discuss the different house plants that I would recommend, especially for the first timers. I would recommend to use at home. In the study, they said that the wider the leaves are, the better it is for them to release oxygen. So that's why my number one pick is fiddle tree. So I like fiddle tree. One, it's because it's easy to take care of. Two, it releases more oxygen. Number three, it controls humidity. And then if indoor, you just, very little sun. It doesn't really need a lot of sunlight, okay? Then this one, Dracaena, nako. If you can't grow Dracaena, or if you can't keep a Dracaena, I don't know now what you can keep, but this is one of the easier ones. Dracaena or fortune plant or corn plant, that's the name. And it reduces stress. And it's good if you put it in a study area or where you are working. Then we have snake plant. Again, another easy to take care of plant. And all you have to do is water it regularly, but don't overwater it also. It's like a succulent. You can just leave it. And then you don't need too much sun. This is important because you can put this in areas with very little window or with very little sunlight. For example, bedrooms, bathrooms, and kitchen. The reason why I recommend this for bedrooms because it releases oxygen. Unlike other plants, it releases oxygen during the night. Oh, this one is screw palm. Actually, pandanus, or I call it giant pandan. And I just showed you an outdoor picture, but you can put it in indoors, but it requires a little bit more of light, huh? So you put it near a window. Pothos has two ways you can keep it inside. Either you plant it in soil, or you can have it. You can have it in water also. This one doesn't need much care, and it releases a lot of oxygen, and it will cleanse your air from all this toxic. Yucca, it's the same as Dracaena, so you treat it the same way, And what I like about it is if you keep it near the window, it will last you forever. Of course, you want to make it, you want to grow it, you want to propagate it. You just have to change the pot so that it can grow bigger. The other thing is, if you want to propagate it, you cut the head. For sure, there will be bulbs coming out from the stalk. Moving on, basil or the herbs. This picture is just a representation of all the herbs. Caladium, I only put this. They're really not indoor plants, but you can bring it in. They don't like too much heat also, so or direct sunlight, so it's also good for indoors. And I just put this in because I like the shape of the leaves and their colors. The aloe vera is medicinal, everyone knows that, but it releases oxygen at night. So you put this in your bedroom. It's very good for you. And it purifies the air, but it needs 6 to 8 hours of sun. So it's a succulent. And do not water it unless it's really dry. As always, you have to feel the soil. If it's damp, don't water it anymore. This is peace lily, another important plant that they have recommended. It's good for the bathroom. Why? Because it removes mold, spores. It's very low maintenance. It doesn't need a lot of sunlight. That's why it can be in the bathroom, and it promotes restful sleep. I like this fern plant, but you have to be careful because it has all these mga pollens underneath. So do not, for those with asthma, I don't recommend this. But I like it because it's sturdy, it's hard, it's a particular fern that I like, and it's an air plant. Rubber tree, this is one of my favorites. Why? Because it's sturdy, it's not easy to kill. So for rubber plant, it doesn't like direct sunlight. So please, if you have a big window and you're putting it there, put like a curtain. What's good about it, it absorbs a lot of toxin. It's a natural air purifier, and don't drown it. Okay, it doesn't like too much of water. Red palm is also good for indoors. Again, air purifier. It's just hard to maintain if it's indoors because you have to also wash the leaves. Because they're tiny, you have to bring them out to clean it. And that goes also with the bromeliad imperial. You have to bring this or at least you have to put it in near a window. And it likes morning sun. And then for the spider plant, another one that you can put in the kitchen, bedroom, and bathroom because it's so low maintenance. It releases more oxygen than any other variegated plant, and it's so easy to keep. And don't you love it that every time that it has this mga overgrowth, it comes out like this. Cut it and you can replant. Okay, that's it. I hope whatever I imparted to you will help you in your next purchase of plant. And also, if you have all of this already, you know where to put it. Okay, so looking forward to see your posts on your Instagram on this.
Thank you very much, Zenas. That was very, very informative, right? So two things actually stood out from that video. One is the benefits of having plants to your health, actually. And second was you mentioned some 15 or so species of plants that are almost impossible to kill, which is very helpful for our newbie plant owners, right? Let's talk about the health benefits first. So there are certain ailments you mentioned that can be addressed by these plants.
Okay, actually for those with asthma or allergies, there are some plants that you can use inside. like areca plum, rapis, peace lily, ivy vines, bamboo palm, Boston fern. But you have to also be careful for kasi this one, di ba, they release oxygen and cleans up the air. They clean up the toxic air. So, but you have to be careful also that there are plants that can be that have allergens, like the ones with flowers. Some people are allergic to them. And the ones with spores, the one underneath the fern, sometimes they have spores. That one can cause allergies too. But the one I mentioned a while ago, that would go.
Some of the ones that you mentioned, beneficial as they are, they can also cause some troubles if not handled properly. Poisonous, I think some of them are ingested in big amounts, especially for our viewers who have children who like putting things in their mouths. What warning can you give?
My advice is to, if you have pets and toddlers, especially toddlers because they don't even know, no, please keep them away from these plants. So the plants that are usually poisonous, ingested, but not really, they'll just have some stomach ache or nausea and all that. So some of them are like the peace lily, snake plants, rubber plant, Dieffenbachia, and the spider plant. So you may still have them, but just keep them away from from the pets and from your children.
There are quite a number of questions from our viewers right now. Some of them may be addressed later on in your video, but let me just ask some from Gian. What are your recommendation for smaller plants that can be put in side tables, for instance?
For smaller plants, I think I showed some. The spider plant, the pothos. You can also try using some of your herbs. You can, but you have to choose. And then, unfortunately, I wasn't able to show. I was able to pick out umbrella plant. I don't know if you can. It's an umbrella plant, I call it. And then I just dipped it in water. It's tiny, and you can just keep it in a corner. Here I have. Here, this is an umbrella plant. I took out the soil and put it in water, and it stays. It's been here for like a month.
Oh, interesting. There's another question here from Denise. Actually, I don't know this species, but I'm sure you do. Is the devil's ivy recommended for beginners?
Actually, what's devil's ivy? Any ivy plants, I think you will be able to you can use as beginners.
How about plants for mosquitoes? We hear that the citronella that's a big thing. Is it really effective in combating mosquitoes? And that question comes from Kathy.
You have there are others: citronella, neem, citrosa, and there's another one. But the other one, it's for outdoor. For the neem, it's also outdoor. So you just have to crush the leaves. Sometimes they burn the leaves and then they put it inside the house. Yes, it's very effective. They use the neem tree. It's called neem tree. They use the oil as mosquito repellent, and of course the famous one, the citronella. But you can't just get or put it inside your house and it will kill the mosquitoes. No, you have to get a portion of it, like I don't know the term, but you chop it so that the scent will come out. Actually, mabango siya.
So this also have, aside from aesthetic benefits, some psychological benefit, which is very helpful at this time, no?
Yes, very, very helpful at this time. And outside of, I don't know if you have experiences this, but if you walk in a park, if you go around the village, or if you just look at your plants, you feel more relaxed and it's a stress reliever. And there has been some surveys that has shown that it can decrease dementia, especially if you take care of it. Dementia and it can make you concentrate more. Then you can become more creative, especially in tight rooms, in like offices, or like if you're in your bedroom, put some plants there. Then, or study room. I mentioned it a while ago. study room, when you put plants there, you can concentrate better and you can become more creative. My experience, I will
So
vouch for it.
it uplifts the mood, which is very needed right now. Zenas, there are quite a number of questions when it comes to proper plant care, but let me just tell the audience there is a segment for that, and we will address all those questions later on. But for now, maybe another trend right now that's ongoing is the farm to table herbs and plants that you grow outdoors. Is this something that you highly suggest as well to our viewers?
It really depends, but yes, I would suggest you can grow your own. If you're living in a condo or in a small place, you can grow this in your balcony, like the herbs, and then some vegetables. I've seen people grow tomatoes and pick their tomatoes from their potted plant. I've seen also okra and what's this? Radish and eggplant. But please be careful. Check out if you're in a balcony. Please check out where the sun is coming. If you're in the east or in the west, or if it's direct sun. And then, since you have a tight space in a balcony, you can level them. You can use parang steps, so that you can have more plants. You can
some sort of a vertical
more plants.
garden. Some sort of a
Yeah,
vertical garden, right?
Or hydroponics, but I'm not an expert in hydroponics. I'll be upfront with that.
How about in terms of sunlight? Might as well, because there's a lot of questions on care. How about if your house doesn't have sunlight coming in? And that question comes from Keith.
Okay, if you don't have that much, you just, this is always my to make sure that if ever I'm going to buy a plant, I'm going to be sure that it will survive wherever I am. So I tell my supplier, I ask my retailer, I'll tell them, it's going to be for the bathroom. What can I use? And most often, that all the ones that I mentioned a while ago, those are the ones that are good for the bathrooms. Spathiphyllum, the snake plant or mother-in-law's tongue, or the spider plant, and pothos the easiest. You don't really need to take care of them.
There is a question here again. Any fruit-bearing plant that you recommend for indoors? Can fruit-bearing plants survive indoors?
I don't recommend, kasi usually they love the sun. So I have not done anything fruit bearing inside my house. So I don't see it.
How about in terms of
But wait, sorry. I remember I've not done it, but my friend has done it. Calamansi. They were able to grow, but it was near. They had a very big window, and it was near the window.
So
it has to have sunlight.
You really have to have literature and research on what you're purchasing to be able to effectively grow.
And my take here is you always ask your supplier on all of this.
Okay, there is a question, and I'm sure this is supposed to be for plant care, but might as well ask you since we're in the topic. Watering, do you water them every day?
No, not every day, especially for indoor. Outdoor, when it's hot and warm and humid, okay lang, you water it. But indoor, you have to check the soil. Always check the soil. Use your hands, or if you don't like, you can use a stick and see if it's damp. If it's still damp, don't water it. And if there are plants that like to be watered, but they don't want you to water the leaves. They want it like under lang, the soil. And I forgot to mention that it's very important, the reaction of the soil and the reaction of the leaves. It's in these two, you have to have them for indoor plants so that you can clear up the toxic air. So important din ang soil.
Okay, speaking of soil, there are quite a number of questions and inquiries about air plants, because you don't need soil for that, or either water plants or air plants. They're asking if it's true that you put sugar can prolong the life of the plant? And that question is from Sharon.
You can try, but me, I don't. I just put, because that's like fertilizer, diba? The sugar. So yes, you can, but my take here is just spray, especially air plants. Just spray them with water, but not every day. At least 3 times a week only, or 4 times a week, and keep it open. You parang don't put it in like a pot. Even if it doesn't have soil, just don't put it in a pot because it needs to breathe. But you can do some sugar, pero I don't recommend.
Oh, you don't? Okay, that's good to know.
Only because if you put sugar, the ants will start coming in.
That's true.
Especially
that's true. And
indoor,
that's another
indoor.
nightmare, Zenas. That's another nightmare. One last question before we move on to another segment. What hanging plants, speaking of air plants and water plants, what hanging plants do you recommend for indoors?
For indoor, I mentioned the fern. I have my fern here for some time already. It's like a leather. I'll find out the name, but it's really beautiful and it stays. The Boston fern can be one. And then you can also have the dapo, malalaki. Pero you can have it also like small. And then spider plant is also nice. This is an air plant. Not really, pero it's like it's a fern. I like it.
It seems that your plants are within easy access, okay?
Yeah. It's just there. I have pothos. Pothos can also be like an air plant. You can hang it. I mean, you can hang it. It's not really an air plant, but you can hang it. Nice for kitchen to hang.
Okay, so now that we have some basics in check, let's now talk about some more of the recommendations on how to adorn. We're inculcating a bit of design in here of specific corners with the plants you recommended and more, and maybe some insights into making creative choices. So Zenas, please watch this with everyone.
Now for this part, styling is very important to me. You can't just bring in your plants and put it like on top of a table or just put it in like your floor. You have to put them together so that they will match. I like mixing colors. I don't use just one kind of plant in one area. I mix them all. Sometimes I also think of giving them heights because it gives interest to a place, or I add props. So let me show you some pics of my home and describe to you what I did to each area. The aesthetics of our house is steel, concrete, and wood. That's it. That's all the materials we have. And it's represented here right in our entrance. Because it's very clean and straight, I just added some softness and pop of color by putting in the fortune plant and the dapo. My rule in the house is that we can only use as planters or holders the terracotta, ceramic vases, and baskets. All of them are all natural and eco-friendly. For our foyer, I added like heights. We have the oregano on top in a ceramic bowl, and then we have the pinsaray below, another layer in a basket. For this corner, it's kind of stiff, so I added lang some props. Please take note that I like to put a lot of props just to make a difference. And so in this area, I put in a combination of two colors, the Dracena and the Sansevieria. And then the next one, we put Yucca and again the Dracena. For this one, again, it's wood and cement, and then it's a hard corner, so I said maybe we can put some plants here. I started again with planters and some accessories, and then worked on with the Dracena and my favorite now, fiddle tree. This is quite challenging because it's sloping. I wanted to put a sculptural work here, but until now I have not found one. I'm still looking for one. So for now, we decided to just put a driftwood or like the bark of the wood, and for shine added some capiz balls, and we added two giant, well, really giant, humongous dapo plants. For the reading corner, we just added some colors by putting this colored leaves. Okay, same here. I just didn't want, I love this lamp, so I didn't want to put too many things here. So I just added the fortune plant. The same way here also, I like this corner. You can see the outside, so I was trying to keep it as light as possible. I didn't want to put too many things, so I put the Japanese palm here. Again, clean lines. I didn't want, again, too many stuff, so I just added the snake plant and my favorite pothos because they will last forever there. You don't really have to take care of them. For the kitchen, I used all my existing ceramic heirloom pieces. And if you notice that my pothos here is planted in with soil, and the other pothos, the one up on the shelf, is in water. I put in the smaller plants or the smaller leaf plants. So we have the pothos, the ferns, we also have the umbrella plant and oregano. For my bedroom, I have one long shelf. And to break the monotony of this shelf, we decided to cut it up into 3 areas. I added like an empty picture frame, a lamp, and then Sulia covered Verena. So, and then on the other side, we have also our antique lamp, one of our collections, and then pictures of our children and family. Here in the middle, we added a picture frame, some books, put some heights, and then I kind of like the idea that I'm using different planters for here. So I have baskets, blue and whites, I have ceramics, and terracotta. For this corner of our living room, one big reason why I like plants is because I sort of have this tendency of making use of it as a divider or a cover. So for this one, I have this ugly speaker here at the corners, so I decided to put plants here. In the first photo, you will see that we use the traveler's palm, and on the second photo, you see that we use the areca plant. For my second floor, I have this beautiful armoire. I added some more plants, and again, I used a basket as for height, and then I used the peace lily, caladium, and pincerai. Please take note that the pincerai doesn't really last that long inside. So these are the ones that I love to use, but I have to bring them out every now and then. And then this is our shelving unit in the living room, and it's I just added a few plants because it's kind of busy already, but the plants just give it some pop of color. This is our balcony at the second floor, and this is actually where I put all the plants that I don't know where else to put. So as you can see, it's a combination of palmeras, bromeliads, or the imperialis, and then I have the spider plant and whatever, bougainvilleas and all that. And this is also where we usually hang out in the afternoon. Just to give you an idea of how where you can put your plants in your homes, Alveo sent me some of their flower plants. Looking at it, it's really nicely laid out. So just a few plants I think will work here. I would start first this is the entrance, right? So I would start first here. I think I would put here the ones that need least of the light, although I see that there will be some light coming from the balcony area. So I would put one here. Okay. One big one. And then as you enter, I don't know, maybe this will be a cabinet in the future, so I don't think I can use this. But I see something here near the TV. We can put one more here. You can also put on the counter a small one. And then for here, go big here. I would suggest that you go big here. For the bedroom, you have windows, so you can put one in the corner. This can probably be a desk, I'm not sure, but you can have that one too. For the bathroom, we can put a small one, a very small one in between, or somewhere here. Up to you. Or a little one in a small vase on top. For the kitchen, just small one here. I think you should max out the balcony. You can't cover the ACU too much, but you can put some on this side. So for privacy, I can line this up, and then I can have another plant here so that it creates some dimension or depth. This is a one-bedroom unit. We will move on. So we have, again, the entrance. If you enter from here, parang they need to see something already nice. So one, we can have some plants or flowers on top, but I prefer plants because it will last longer. I would put something here so that when they see it, this one acts like a divider, semi-divider between the living room and the dining area. And then I would put something in this corner. Because I would assume they would have like a console table here, a little small console table there. And then again, I see that there's a window. I would put plant also in this corner, a big one. I'm putting more plants here. Don't mind my drawing, I'm doing it fast. For this bedroom, I suggest that you have one here. Or you can also have one here. Or maybe not. Erase this and just make this probably like a dresser. Or for this one, this place would really need one. And maybe a small one on the TV table. For the master's bedroom, toilet and bath, we can have one on the counter and one on the floor. That goes also for here. We can have one here. And that's it. We can't do anything anymore for that. So these are examples of their units. As it is, they look beautiful. And again, you have this big, large window, so you max that out. So you can either put one large tree here. So they can see it. And that's it. For me, I like this plant already. Maybe you can have a set. It doesn't have to be just one. So it cuts the corner. And that's it. That goes now for this one. Again, you can either this small or you can have a bigger one. I like scaling it bigger than what you usually put. Why? Because it makes it more. It gives that sense of feeling that it's big. The place is bigger. Then I'd put something that would be drooping down here. And I love putting plants on the counter of the kitchen. So I'll put here. And maybe you can line this up with your basil, etc. With your herbs. Okay, that's it. Maybe I would just remind you that these plants are not objects. They are living materials. They're living items. So you have to take care of it. So you have the freedom to put them anywhere in your house, but please do take care of them. Whenever you think of putting your plants, make sure that you know that it will survive there. Number 2, you can water them. So, and then number 3, you can clean them up when you need to.
Okay. I'm actually green with envy right now, Zenas. First, with
Oh,
the beautiful house that you have, that you just showed and shared with us. Thank you very much. And also, I'm actually very envious because the Alveo model units are actually very well designed and aesthetically beautiful as well. Do you know what model units these are? Which developments they
yes,
are?
yes. Yes, for the floor plan, for the layouts that I did, I got it from Orion Place at Vertis North. And then for the perspectives, ang ganda, no? They're really parang well placed. For the perspectives, I got them from Park Ford Suites at Legazpi Village, Makati.
Thing. It just stood out to me that you said when there is a smaller space, bigger plants actually can work aesthetically to their advantage because of the scale. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Something like if you have a fiddle tree that's big, it looks great in for as long as it reaches the ceiling, and then for as long as you don't have too much of the greens underneath. So because of that, because of the sheer scale of it, when you open the door and you look at this room, it looks like, wow, it looks big, and I can vouch for that.
Oh, this is pretty interesting. The question is from Albert. What about plants suitable for offices that are also your home office?
Yes.
Hardworking person,
A
eh?
lot a lot of people are already investing in that. What kind of plants? The ones that I mentioned in my first video, I think are all the plants that you can put inside. But since it's small, I don't know if it's a limited space, get those small ones like the spider. There's a mini anthurium plants that you can put also, that flowers also. You can also try orchids, but like a phalaenopsis if you want, but you can't make that stay too long inside. So the ones that really would stay long are the dracaenas, and it's good for psychologically. It's good for you because it makes you relax and you can concentrate. So those are the snake plants, and then the smaller ones are the pothos, spider plants, and you can also use the ferns and the ivy vines. Ivy vines are also nice to use.
There is a specific question here from Hannah pertaining to the two-bedroom unit rendering that you shared earlier. Do you have specific type of plants when you were drawing into that floor
Um,
plan?
I think for the two bedroom, for the end where the balcony is, where at the end of the balcony, I would go for either a yucca, nice sana if it's like a two-arm yucca, or like fiddle tree, that would be nice also there, but large for that very end. For the one in front, it doesn't really get a lot of sun, so maybe you can just put there the fortune plant for as long as it's a little bit high, or you can put it on a pedestal. And then for the near the what's this, the TV, or like the TV counter, you can put smaller ones. The spider, the ivy, ferns, something that goes down, that flows down.
There are
For
quite a
others,
number. Sorry, go ahead. For you.
it's okay. For the others, well, you can use the philodendron. Nice also philodendrons. Yeah.
Yeah, they're beautiful. Anyway, a lot of our viewers are condo dwellers. So I think a lot of questions are in the line of how about taking care of them? Because how do you maintain them when there's really limited working space? Do you mind sharing some tips on that, Senas?
Um, okay, some tips on that. Number one, you have when you purchase your plant, ask already all the questions from your supplier before you even leave, or before you even purchase the plant, because they have particular requirements. Second, for the condo users, please use peat soil for your if you transfer them to your own containers. Please use pit soil because that's lighter, so it's easier for you to carry if you want to water, or to carry it out to your balcony if you want to water it. And then I have a little technique. I just use a basin when I want to water and I have a lot of small plants that I have to water, I use a small basin, put water there and put all my pots there and let it stay for a while and then remove it, drain it in your balcony. Or the shower area or your bath area, you can use that. You can use that also. You have to clean your plants, Ren. You don't forget it. Outside of watering, you clean your plants. So the bigger the leaves are, the more time you need to clean those. Wipe it with damp cloth, water lang, and then just wipe it there. So that's
Yeah, there
another.
was actually there was a question from three people, Minda, Sandy, and Sharon. How do you clean the leaves? So you said just wipe them with cloth, with wet
Oh,
cloth, right?
yeah, two ways. Especially for the tiny ones, naman you can't do it like for palmeras. The palmeras, you have to bring them all out. You have to bring them out, give them a shower. If they're not too big, you can bring them to your bathroom and give them a shower. Actually, that's good kasi it controls the humidity. Parang since it gets dusty, so you have to remove that dust so that the oxygen will circulate.
There is a question here for another condo dweller, Leslie. Do you recommend having a shelf specifically for plants?
Yes, especially if you want to put some in your balcony so that you have some heights. And then for others, not necessarily just shelves. There are many ways of styling your home with. You can use ladder. You can use what's this, old table to give height, to give some levels. But shelves are the easiest way to do it because at least you can put a lot of plants on shelves.
So you mentioned also, this is a question from Maria Carolina, that by the window or the balcony, you can have bigger plants. I guess she has a big balcony as well.
Yes,
What
yes.
other plants aside from the fiddle tree do you suggest? Bigger plants for
No,
a balcony?
when I mentioned the fiddle tree, that's inside. But if you are in the balcony, the plants that you can use are like the palmeras. You can have also the imperialis if you have a bigger balcony. You can also use even like your bougainvilleas for as long as it will receive enough sun. You can grow some of those there. And
So there,
the ferns.
yeah. There is a question here from Pin, which I know you definitely will be against. There's a beautiful vase that she has, but it doesn't have a hole, so it can't drain the water. What do you suggest to do that she does with it?
Oh no. You can use it,
You
but
can.
you have to create another layer. So you don't put the soil at once there. So if it doesn't have if walang drain, you can just put layers of like gravel, sand, so that the water will go through that, and then the soil is above.
Oh, is
So
there
about like a fourth, yeah. So you can. I did it for this pothos. I have pothos here. This doesn't have a drain. This is my old ceramic vase that what I did was put, and then I'll just be careful. You have to be careful, like touch it, feel it. If the soil is still damp, don't put any water at all. With this one, it's been with I just transferred the because I like the vase. So I just transferred my existing pothos and it's been here for like what? A month. It's still alive.
Maybe another last one question before we wrap up this particular segment and move on to proper plant care. What's your take on misting indoor? Do you recommend it? Abby wants to ask. And some say it can cause fungal infections. Is that true?
No. Just be careful. Over watering your plant will cause fungal infection. Because if you're putting too much water, then you'll create root rots. But for misting, yes, because especially if you are in an air-conned room and continuously air-conned, like in offices, it's continuous. Please mist it because they need a certain level of humidity. So you just spray water a little and just to remove the dryness
Okay.
of the
There's
plant.
just so much, and there's so many questions. But at this point, I'm sure we're all surveying our rooms and looking at what items we can use to decorate the plants with. Thank you for all the tips. But before, you mentioned earlier that in that video, please take care of them. And because they're living entities, they're not just inanimate objects, right? They're alive. So I think this is a good jump off point to introduce our next video. And a lot of questions surround this particular segment, which is proper plant care. Please watch this.
Okay, transferring plants is one of my favorite ones, because first and foremost, I get to choose the pot or the container that I like. Second, your plants need growth, so you have to transfer them. So that means it's going to get bigger than their regular size. So we have here right now is a ceramic vase with a hole underneath. This is the drainage that they say. If you're going to use this like this one, I'm definitely going to use this for inside my house. I usually put some rocks to cover the drainage. I put some rocks underneath, a little only, or you can just go straight with the organic soil that I'm going to use right now. First, I just do this and then fill it up, not to the brim, but just about a fourth of the, depending on how I see this. So I get organic soil. You know, I'm using spider plant. I love this because it has some this one, it has new growth, and actually this one you can pick up and plant it again. So there you have it. I have established the, press it a little bit, the basic idea. Now for the newbies, or like those who are just first time, I'm gonna take out some of the about a third. I'm removing, and then I transfer it. See, so the size is just enough. Okay, press it a little bit and add some more soil. Don't leave some space, about an inch or less before the brim. Press it a little down. There. Press it a bit more. Okay. And do not, and then water. Water is important. Water it after. And let it drain a bit. And so here we have our spider plant. Just don't bring it in too soon. Let it drain out. Make it stay in your patio or in the veranda for a while before you bring it in. Okay, you have to be conscious about the type of vases that you will bring in your condominiums or your houses. I usually match my vases based on the decor of the house or the style of the house. So I like using terracotta, ceramic vases, wood, and metal. So, but of course, not all like wood. I cannot use them to plant it. So it just becomes a planter for me. And then for terracotta, it's hard because when you water a terracotta, it gets damp underneath. So what I usually do is put another layer or a plato underneath. It should be plastic though. And then I put these rocks for drainage so that whatever overspill of water you have, it will go here. So there won't there's such a thing as root rot. So your roots will not rot because of overwatering. So you just put it here like this. Okay, and then you water your plant. That's it. Okay, for this one was left outside of outside the garden, and started getting these burn marks, and then insects started biting it. So I need to revive it a bit. For the burn marks, don't touch them. But for these ones that have been eaten, so I'm taking them out already from the garden, and then I'm just cutting this. Okay, it's eating up the energy of the plant, so better to cut them, but slowly, not all. Just don't be afraid to take out this one so that all the nutrients that you give this plant will go to the greens that are still, or the leaves that are still okay. For this one, I won't touch yet. And then after this, I think it's good that you can clean it also. It's a little dusty, and that happens. Give it a bath with water. Just rub it. This part. You can do this for your wide or your broadleaf plants, like the fiddle tree, the snake plant. So if you see it, it changes. And then it's also making it breathe better. The plants are alive, so are live ones, so you need to make it breathe. This one I have to check. I don't want to remove all the leaves that are dying because, as they say, nagtatampo. I love this. See, there's a big difference when you clean your leaves. And if you don't have that much, I think it's really nice to take care of it and wipe it with there. Okay, now this I have with me are actually they are 5 air plants, and this is one of the easiest plants that you can bring into your house. These are Tilandantia, and they don't like soil. They thrive in air, and with just little water, they will live and survive your house. Okay, so I have this one. It's a gift to me, and I said I might as well use it for this air plant since they need the air should circulate around it. for the fern, it likes to be in a damp area. So this one, you constantly have to make sure that the husk is wet, like right now. Then I just add some more. Okay, that's it.
You make it look so easy, Zenas, with your
Oh,
apron.
it's easy.
Well, they're very smart, simple, effective tips like the rocks underneath the pot for proper drainage and all that. There are quite a number of questions. As I mentioned earlier, we were holding out on a lot of questions about proper plant care. Some of the questions include, like in the example of the peace lily, you wipe them, right? But what if, when do you know when to just cut them or let them survive? Because it's very hard not to
Oh,
get
yes.
tempted. Yeah.
When it's when the only a portion of it gets browned, don't cut it immediately. Sayang eh. That one can still emit. It's still breathing. For the ones that are really like super brown, I don't have a sample, but yung super brown na talaga or yellowish, you remove it because it's going to take a lot of energy from the plant. So you might as well give energy to the other leaves. Give it there na lang.
Here's a question from Lisa, who obviously lives in a condominium. Her plants are drying. So now she's wondering if it's an accident of overwatering, or maybe she's putting it in the balcony too long that the leaves are getting fried. What do you think is the diagnosis of it?
Yes. I have a feeling it's getting fried if she puts it out too long in the balcony. If it's inside and it's drying, baka naman she's not watering it properly.
Okay. What
I
is
have to
proper
see it though.
what is proper watering? That
Proper
again
watering
depends
is,
on
it
the
depends on the
moisture.
type of plant. For the succulents, you don't water them all regularly, or you just wait for it until you see that the soil is very dry. And I don't water it directly to the plant. I water it around the on the soil. Okay. For that goes also for aloe vera and the other succulent like plants. For for others, you just have to really feel the soil. Really taking care, kasi our plants don't talk to us, right? Unlike pets, they bark, they cry, they if they need something. Plants are like, if you just have to look at them and see if they need something from you.
Hmm. So you really have to have an intuition and feel for nature, right? So there is
Right.
another question about, in particular, organic pesticide, and that is from Wilson. And Denise wants to ask certain things in the kitchen, like dishwashing liquid, or maybe we've spoken about this in the past, eggshells, banana peels, and those that our parents have told us in the past. Can you weigh in on that, Zenas?
Okay, so for the banana peels I mentioned, that's really for as fertilizers or an add-on to your existing soil, right? But for organic pesticide, kasi I don't like, uh, in the past they would say malathion, stuff like that, and I'm cringing right now every time they mention the spray malathion, all these bugs will get out. No, um, yes, as mentioned, you can use a little of liquid soap, dishwashing soap, and then you put water. You know what I did just recently? That all the bugs, or not naman slugs, went out of my basil because they were eating all the leaves. So what I did was spray them with water, a little salt, believe me, some onions and some chili pepper and garlic. Parang
Mm-hmm.
ang naggisa na ako ng ulam.
Wow,
But
that's quite
it
a
worked.
recipe.
Yes, yes, yes. And then I sprayed it on my, the slugs were there, but they stopped eating already. So they started disappearing. I was watching it every day. So
Rajiv,
now
there's
they're
a
clean of slugs.
sorry, there's a question. Rajiv is asking, how about milk? Is that also helpful?
Um,
Not so partial with milk?
I'm not so partial with milk, but
Okay,
I've
got
not
that.
not tried it. Honestly, I have not tried milk. Sayang naman eh. Para,
That's true.
but I can, di ba? Parang sayang naman.
Correct, correct. Sandy wants to know, how about oiling? Oiling the leaves? Is it just aesthetic or does it harm your plant? Or
You know what? I did try it because I wanted it really shiny and it worked. It's shiny, but it started dying on me. The leaves started
oh,
browning as soon as it got exposed to the sun.
okay,
So, parang mong piniprito. It's like you're
that's true.
frying, practically frying your leaf when you put oil or mayo. Marami yan. Mayo, oil with water, stuff like that. You can do it, but it's a risk. It's a
It's a
big
risk.
risk for you.
Yeah. So Zenas, I'm just wondering because a lot of questions also have something to do with what you actually need in proper plant care, like your arsenal or your caboodle of tools. What are the tools that you need to have as a beginner plant parent? And where can we buy these
Um,
things?
oh, there are a lot of hardwares that you can buy this, and Ayala malls have them. You have True Value, you have Metro department stores, you have Daiso, you have Ace Hardware, dame. And please bring. You can buy. Okay, these are the lists that I would recommend. You can buy your pots there. You can buy also like your tools, like your pruning scissors, your spade, your rake, and then even your watering can. They have those. And I love using. To pet since it's indoor and you most of the time you have small plants lang naman indoors. I mean, for at least for the condos, I really like to buy those small ones for small pots. But of course, I have the big ones also. Yun.
Mhm.
Like terno, they're color coded.
That's how about plants? You can buy them in, I think Market has a good selection as well,
That's
correct?
my for if I am desperate and I need some plants, I go to market. And I also have they have this cash. It's a store. All the nice, not so common plants you can find there. Sometimes they
Oh,
run out na eh.
that's the problem. Let's
Cash,
talk
and they're
about
available. I think in Alabang Town Center they have. In if I'm not Soledad, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm not sure. And then of course there's King Louis, the usual designer blooms. In Market, it's a mix of uh, potted plants, cut leaves, and potted flowers. You can and cut flowers you can get from Market, and wide array.
okay, so there are a lot of questions. I guess this is a major concern. How about pricing? What is smart plant shopping that so you know that you're not overstretching in terms of budget as well? Any economical tips, Zenas, for plant shopping?
Okay. For the newbies, kasi there's that you let's buy na lang the smaller ones, the seedlings, or let's buy seeds and I'll grow it. Okay if you have enough time, okay if you have the patience, but if you are new, I would rather that you buy the well-established plants. It doesn't have to be big because the bigger the plant is, the more expensive. Because can you just imagine they took care of it for years before they sold it to you. So you just get the average and don't buy the difficult ones or the more difficult to grow ones. What I
Mm.
mentioned in my video previous to this, those are the plants that are easy to grow and are good for indoors.
And they're
Um,
tropical. They like our
and
weather,
they're
right?
tropical, so they can fit in to our weather.
Huh?
Except for fiddle tree, they said nga daw that fiddle tree is so hard to grow. No, they are easy, except that they're not fast growing, but you can maintain them.
They like to take their time.
Yeah.
Condominiums, actually, most of the time, the air condition is on, running all the time. So is that harmful? What counter uh, actions can you do to prevent the drying of the plants in an air-conditioned condominium?
Even in condominiums, in offices, and even in your rooms, because usually you turn on your aircon, diba? So what you do first, don't put it directly in front of the aircon vent. So not directly. They don't like the cold too much. So and then second, if it's continuously you're in an your plant is in an aircon room, try to mist it. Kasi even for my cut flowers, I uh, I have to make sure that that they are kasi it gets dry. And usually, di ba, you put them in aircon room to preserve it, or you put cold cold water to preserve it, but it gets dry easily. So I missed it also.
Okay, so misting is very important. How about in terms of technical needs like SOS, like curling of leaves, turning yellow? Like sometimes we get, as new plant parents, we panic, right? What are the steps on how do we go about caring for them? And that is a question
Okay, for
from Kathy, from quite a number of people, Marie, and so on.
okay, let's start from the beginning. Usually kasi our sickness is overwatering our plants. So just a few days ago, I just saw someone water my plant and it was like overflowing already. And I knew from the from the start that they have overwatered it. So anyway, what if you start seeing the leaves turning yellow, and then parang ano it's not growing, you better check the soil and try to, you'll know it, it's turning yellow and the leaves are falling off, you'll know. So you look at the roots and check what's happening. So if that's already the cause, root rotting, and you check, and if you see that there are a lot of roots already brown, take them all out and transfer the plant to another pot. Parang you repot it. If you have overwatered it and it has created, it has already accumulated some fungus. Those browning or blackening of the roots, that means may fungus na. So you have to take that all out and then maintain the white healthy roots. But if you check and
Zenas, I think we are having some technical problems here. Zenas? Okay, I think we will have to check on our resource speaker. There you go, you're back.
Oh no, too much
Okay.
sun, it droops. Okay, and then if sometimes you check also the under of the leaves and you will know if there are insects there.
Yeah,
Okay,
there
so
is a
those are
question about bugs, about managing
Yeah.
bugs. There are quite a number of questions. I'm sorry, I can't mention all the names. How do you address the bugs? Is there a foolproof solution?
My go-to solution is always organic. Try to do it organic first. So I mentioned a while ago, you spray it with all of this. It depends on the kind of bugs, but the slugs, it's salt lang pwede na. Pero
Okay. I think Zenas, are you still there? Anyway, we're learning so much from every advice that Zenas has been sharing with us right now. While we're waiting for her to go back online, I think at this point there are some more questions, but we have to wait for Zenas on that. But I think this is a good time to wrap up. I think first we just want to thank Zenas for all the informative advice that you've shared with us today. It's such a pity that the internet connection is so, and However, there is so much more information that we have to learn and to know about plants and plant parenting. So we're very sorry and apologies for not being able to ask all the questions of the audience, but we can hand them all over to Zenas. If you could just flash right now how to get in touch with her through her website, her Facebook, her IG, her YouTube, and then you can get so many more smart planting tips right there. So if we are able to connect back to Zenas, so evidently not. So anyway, there you have it. We hope you have learned and enjoyed our bespoke lifestyle session of creating green spaces at home with Zenas Pineda. This is, of course, presented by Ayala Malls, Awakens Amazing, and Alveo Land, innovating the way you live in their common mission of enhancing your lifestyle while ensuring sustainable and responsible development. We encourage you to fill up the feedback form that will be sent to you after this session. And upon completing the form, you will receive a special token from both Ayala Malls and Alveo Land. There will also be a surprise primer of information or handout that you can really read to find out more about the tips that Zenas shared with us today. If you're interested in any of the Alveo projects that were mentioned in today's session, please reach out to your property specialists who invited you today, or visit www.alveoland.com.ph for more details. This has been Jingay Joven de la Merced, looking forward to seeing your creative forays as you create your own green spaces at home. It was a pleasure chatting with all of you. Stay healthy, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.